So questions gives us that opportunity to just be able to really ask at the core things we really want to deal with or things we really want to get clarity to. He said, the weakest part of a man's life is his mind. That is why one of the greatest things you can do as you begin to mature, one of the signs of maturity is to unlearn and relearn. The truth is, many times, 90% of the things we'll do, it's simply because they were passed on to us that this is how things should be. What you don't know you've done is that you've created an environment for you to receive answers. Your mind does not have the capacity to generate ideas. I know it's controversial, but you see, after survivor, there's a next level. The next thing people begin to seek for is meaning. The person said, it is only poverty that can convince you to think it's only money you need in this life. You see, if you're becoming sensitive to present age and time, you will start noticing quickly that the regular career paths is not, especially if you're a young person, is not the conventional career path, is not what the only thing your eyes should be on. Life now is so dynamic. It's so dynamic that there is a mirage of things, a myriad of things you can choose from as a young person. Because AI is a real thing, no? Don't let anybody tell you that don't allow anybody tell you it's just a fluke, is a flash in the pan, the vibe will die. It's not true. These are circles that are moving, that if you don't join the trend, you will be, you see, your decisions will be as good as how broad your knowledge is. Generations are unique. There are specific opportunities that are unique to certain generations. Young people are seeking clarity for career, purpose, assignment, and what do you have there again? Mission.
In a world full of confusion, pressure, and distractions, we help create content that gives clarity, direction, and practical wisdom that you can apply in your everyday life. So if you're a young person out there trying to figure out life, build a future, and stay grounded in God, then you're in the right place. Welcome once again to the podcast.
Hey, hello family. Welcome to this episode, Gen Zs and Life. Questions young people are asking as touching life. Part 3. I've been so blessed by these questions. It's, one of the reasons I love questions is simply because they give you an idea of people's frame of mind, people's situation, people's place where they are able to bear out their heart on matters where they maybe wanted to talk to someone about. So questions gives us that opportunity to just be able to really ask at the core things we really want to deal with or things we really want to get clarity to. So questions are very beautiful things. So quickly, let's get on right onto it on this episode. Questions young people are asking as touching life. The questions I have today are very beautiful questions, and I know you're going to be really blessed, really educated, really taught. So let's get right into it. This one says, how do I pick a career path? How do I pick a career path? Yes, and this is one very dicey area that many times young people are really seeking clarity for. How do I pick a career path? Like we said in the second episode, my recommendation, because it is easy for us as humans. Someone said, and I believe it's true. He said, the weakest part, and this may sound like, just thinking about it is making me even laugh. This may sound like it's a lie. It may sound like it's an irony, but he said, the weakest part of a man's life is his mind. I think some of us think that, oh no, your mind is the strongest. And the reason is said that many of us, we are not aware of how impressible, on how how vulnerable we are to learn things, even without knowing. So it's from that perspective we're talking about the fact that your mind is easily impressible. Like things can be impressed on your mind faster than you know, even without you even knowing. Your mind can pick up things from the environment, from we don't know how much we are vulnerable to learning. You know, nobody's have you ever imagined how you learned a song? You deliberately did not sit down to say, okay, this is the line of the song. I want to deliberately learn the lyrics like this. Just listening to it over and over again, your mind will pick it. Imagine imagine the things your mind have learned and your mind have picked since when you were little up to this point. That is why one of the greatest things you can do as you begin to mature, one of the signs of maturity is to unlearn and relearn. Is to get to a point where you can tell yourself that this thing I believe, why do I even believe it? Is to check again your belief systems and to say, okay, I believe life should be about this thing. At what point did I believe it should be? The truth is, many times, 90% of the things we'll do, it's simply because they were passed on to us that this is how things should be. Oh. This is how things should be. This is how things should be. Go to school, get a good result. This is how things should be. Graduate and get a very good job. This is how things should be. So we hardly really question things. I am laying that foundation because it becomes the proper foundation when you now say, I want to choose a career path. I want to choose something my life should be about. From what point or from what fountain, what source are you going to choose that? Many times we choose that based on all through our life, the careers and the things we believe that these are popular careers or these are popular paths people should choose. Or all through our life, we choose that based on we think, I used to have a family member, and that man used to be a big man. I've seen him do this thing. I think if I do it too, it's going to work. Oh, or I know so and I've seen them pursue this thing. I just like the way it looks good on them. If I do it also, it's going to work. Many times, that's where we choose from. So if you're going to choose a career path, I feel it's something you should be very deliberate about, considering every possible factor. Now, and I'm going to be very practical with you on this. I'm going to spend some time on this question, considering very, very practical factors. I used to have a friend. One time, he was he a friend? Not really a friend. It's more like a younger friend, like a mentee or like a younger friend, someone that from time to time he will always ask me questions on some matters, and especially if he wants to make a very critical decision. And he said to me, he said he would want to study a particular course. I just told him, I said, see, Oga, if it's in this country you want to do that, it's going to be an issue. Seriously, it's going to be an issue. If it's in this country you want to do that, I don't think our economy, space, and nation is yet ready for that kind of a course for you to study in a higher institution. So there are certain things that you have to be very realistic about when you want to choose a career path. So this is my recommendation. Number one, first of all, again, again and again, go back to source. Go back to God, sit with God, ask Him, what should my life be about? First, what should my life be about? First. Now, in that conversation with God, like I said, you may not first necessarily hear a voice. But you see, Bao, I have found out that the way these things work, because you made it a deliberate act. Sometimes people think it's foolish to talk to God, and I'm wondering, really? Because you made it a deliberate act to go back to Him to ask. What you don't know you've done is that you've created an environment for you to receive answers. God is that merciful. God is that good. Because you deemed it fit to ask Him, you've created an environment for Him to reach back to you. So what begins to happen is that you start having impressions, you start having knowings, you start having a sense of knowing. That knowing where you don't know how you know, but you know, and you're sure of that knowing. And many times the very popular question I get a lot as touching, how do I know God is talking to me? How do I know it's my mind? How do I know is God or is my mind? And many times I ask the people, I will be like, okay, so before you asked God that question, your mind could not of its own just say, oh, generate to just generate that answer. You understand what I said? So somebody is like, the person is confused to say, I don't know if it's God on my mind. And I'm like, if your mind is that intelligent, why did your mind all along, all this time, not give you the answer before? Why is it that it's now that we've brought God into the equation, you're not thinking, I don't know if it's God on my mind? Um, our mind is not that our mind is not that intelligent. There's this particular movie. There's a scene in that movie. I think it's called Wonder Woman. There's a scene in that movie where one of the scientists, I think the background of that story was they went back to World War II, the German war, Nazi, and Hitler, and all of those things. And at some point, the German scientists were trying to make a particular bomb. In order for him to do that, this guy who was trying to invade the air, this villain, I think, what's his name now? The other guy, he was whispering the ideas to his ears, and on this side of the divide, on the physical side, it looks like a great idea. Oh, I just got a great idea. Your mind does not have the capacity to generate ideas. I know it's controversial. Don't worry, with time you understand better. But it has the ability to pick up ideas. It has the ability to pick up ideas. Many things we'll call breakthrough ideas are actually whispers. Whispers. Whispers um, from a realm beyond this one. And somebody's like, don't worry, it's controversial, Abby. Don't worry, just leave it. Let's not argue. Let's not argue in the comment section. Don't worry. We will have, if you want to have that conversation, we can have it. Let's not argue in the comment section. So basically, what I'm saying is go back to socks, ask God. If you ask him, you've created an environment for him to speak back. Once you've done that, the next thing that begins to happen is that he ideas will start coming. Ideas will start coming. That, okay, I think you should choose this, choose that, choose that. Once you've had that settled to say, okay, I don't know, but I just feel I should be about this thing. The next thing you want to do, you want to go out there. When I mean out there now, out there to now check what career paths are aligning with this. Now, why that is important is because if you choose a career path bar that the only motivation for choosing it is money, that this career pays a lot. Now, the problem with that is you will still come back to what you really want to do. Because after Survivor, at first, the first level where every man is at is, man, see, let me just survive. But you see, after Survivor, there's a next level. The next thing people begin to seek for is meaning. You see, a point comes where you are not really struggling to eat. then your life, you will be like, what should my life be about? What's the meaning of my life? I'm saying after survivor is meaning. Don't think you will always live your life trying to survive. No, you would not. You would not always live your life trying to survive. So I'm saying that as you approach choosing a career path, have those two things in mind. Yes, I have to survive, but along the way, I have to also find meaning. You are a human being. Like, you are a whole packaged human being from head to toe. And you see, but it's not just money you need. That's not the only need in your life. You know, it is, it is, somebody said, great talk. The person said, it is only poverty that can convince you to think it's only money you need in this life. It's not just money you need to survive. And I know sometimes when coming from a a background that's not privileged, you just feel if I can get this money, see, everything we settle is not necessarily true. It's not necessarily true. So I'm saying to you that as you choose a career path, don't just think survival. Don't just think how much is it going to give to me. Also think meaning. Add both. And don't just say, it's just meaning, no, it's just meaning, it's just meaning. Then you go and choose a very abstract career path that, see, you have needs. It's understandable. You have needs. And those needs have to be met. Or if you don't have now, you will have needs. And at some point, those needs have to be met. Now, let me just put that out there, since we're talking about career path. If this is the only question we can do in this episode, it's fine. And I think, because I think it's a very, very important question. Let me just put that out. Let me just put this out there as we are talking about how do I choose a career path. You see, if you're becoming sensitive to present age and time, you will start noticing quickly that the regular career paths is not, especially if you're a young person, is not the conventional career path, is not what's the only thing your eyes should be on now. In the sense that, oh, lawyers, doctors, this, that. Life is so, and it's life now is so dynamic. It's so dynamic that there is a mirage of things, a myriad of things you can choose from as a young person. As a young person. 10 years ago, 10 years ago, content was not a career path. I hope you're aware. But today, if you don't want to use the word a career path, but today, it is something your life can be about. 10 years ago, it was not, but now it is. If you're following trends also, you will now know that presently, hope you know AI is a thing. Like, is a real thing. Yesterday, I was just talking to a friend. I call him my personal AI consultant. That guy is good. He's one of the persons I know that, you see, but if AI blows up in this country, forget it. He will be there. He will be part of the persons that wave will carry. So I've personally recruited him as my personal AI consultant. You see, but there's certain things he had to teach me something else I had to go home myself to practicalize. It was AI is a real thing, no. Don't let anybody tell you that it's just this this bubble it's just bubble, it will soon burst. It's not true. It's not true. Oga, it's not true. I'm telling you the truth. It's not true. Hope you know that presently now there is a war that the US is fighting with Iran, so that you can have an idea of when this was recorded. There's a war the US was they are now, not was, they are still fighting with Iran. And part of a major part of that thing that they are using to make the fight is AI, Anthropic, Claude. I hope you are aware. AI don't allow anybody tell you it's just a fluke, is a flash in the pan. It will the vibe will die. Is not true. These are circles that are moving that if you don't join the trend, you will be So you can look into those parts also when we're talking about choosing a career path. So if you notice what I've said in summary, is that you start from the spiritual, then you have a complete picture or a complete knowledge of the natural, then you merge both. So you go back to source asking God, you have that sense of what it should be about, then you find physical platforms called career paths to be able to put what that thing should be on. Again, go back to source. Once you go back to source asking those questions, God gives you a sense of knowing. He communicates back to you. Then you go on to what you receive, the catalog, or what you can call the catalog of what parts may be aligning with these things I've done, having conversations with God. And you see, your decisions will be as good as how broad your knowledge is. So once you've done the spiritual part, once you come to the natural part, broaden your scope and broaden your knowledge so that it becomes easier to be able to say, this is what I'm choosing from. Let me give you an example. If I put two things before you and I say, this is red and this is blue, no matter how much you have spoken to God and you've prayed in the spiritual, by the time you come to the physical, where you have only two options, is red and is blue. It's from red and blue that God can speak to you from. Now, see, don't get me wrong. God can go outside the box many times to choose to now say, even though you have red or blue, choose black. You're like, what is black? I don't even understand what black is. God can do that. He is not limited. He can. But many times, because of the limitations of men, the more options you have to choose from, the more better it is when God begins to speak to you. So I'm saying that your job or God's job is to speak to you on what your life should be about. Your job is to provide the options. So the broader your scope, the more easy it is for God to speak to you specifically, or the more better your choices will be. So you broaden your scope, then God speaks. So you create for God the options to speak from by hard work, study, knowing what is obtainable in your time and age. I've shared that scripture here with us before. He said, David, when he had served the purposes of God in his own generation, he slept with his fathers. His own generation. Generations are unique. There are specific opportunities that are unique to certain generations. You get that now? Certain generations. So you must be really aware. You must be up to date. You must be abreast with the facts of your own generation. You must be abreast with the facts of your own generation, the opportunities, the uniqueness of your own generation. From that point, it becomes easier for God to communicate. It becomes easier. There's a scripture that says that when the Spirit of God is come, that's in John, He will remind you of the things I have spoken to you. Now, notice, His job is to remind you. Now, you cannot be reminded of something you've not first minded. You get? So I'm saying to you that in choosing a career path, there is God's path, there is your path. There is God's path, there is your path. So by the time you do that, don't just choose from the things you've seen obtainable physically. Those things can change quickly. And many times is one of the reasons why people lose taste or motivation by the time they start chasing a particular career path. Many times when you check this situation with those kinds of things, is that by the time you check the roots, you will see that the 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 motive for the motivation, or the motivation for choosing that path in the first place, was faulty. And then we've come to the end of this episode. So that's the only question we can deal with on this episode. And like I said, if that's the only thing we can deal with, it's good, because that's a very critical area young people are seeking clarity for: career, purpose, assignment, and what do you have there again? Mission. And I think maybe in the next episode, I will talk more about that: career, purpose, assignment, calling. Have a great day. Have a great time. See you once again. Till we see. Cheers.